Hi, I'm Danny Dixon. I'm currently working as Head of Community Resilience at South East Coast Ambulance Service, which is a role which supports our volunteers and our community engagement. But my clinical background is as a paramedic, and I think patient care is still one of the most rewarding elements of my role. Becoming an NQP is hard. On the one hand, you're dealing with the confidence and expectations which come with completing your student paramedic program and becoming qualified. But then on the other hand, you have all the anxieties and pressure which comes with starting in a new job and suddenly being the accountable registered clinician, and making that transition can be really tricky, and you need a lot of support in order to do that. And so with this book, whilst the content is relevant to anybody who's planning to work as a paramedic, it is hopefully particularly useful for newly qualified paramedics. The aim is that the Newly Qualified Paramedics Handbook covers the entire period of development from finding a job as an NQP to completing a preceptorship programme and then moving into an experienced or a specialist role. And I think crucially it's not tied to any specific working environment. So although it does align with the UK Ambulance Service NQP programme, the content is relevant to any area that an NQP might work. Information about finding a role, what it means to be a registered professional, how to get the most out of a preceptorship programme, information about clinical leadership, and probably importantly dealing with setbacks as well. And I think it's really worth highlighting that any of those setbacks are inevitable. They're part of that development process and they're not something to hide from, but a really good opportunity to learn and improve as a clinician. And then the last part is around how we support other learners with their development as well, which of course is part of developing as an experienced clinician. So I was inspired to produce this book because when I first started working as a paramedic, there was very little support for NQPs. In fact, the NQP role didn't specifically exist. And so a large part of my educational career has been building programs and processes to try and improve on that. We're now in a much stronger position where nationally many employers have specific preceptorship or development programs for NQPs, but there are still no specific learning resources in place to try and support those programs. So I think ultimately anything which can help to improve the confidence for people as they go through this really important stage in their career can only be a good thing. So although this book is specifically aimed at NQPs, it actually covers a broad cross-section of some of the key factors to consider when moving into progressing or returning to a role as a paramedic. So I imagine it would be particularly useful for those third-year student paramedics who are about to start looking for a job, or those that are currently starting or working in an NQP role. But it should also be really helpful for those that are returning to practice for any reason, whether that's after a career break or following parental leave, or really anybody who's struggling with their confidence at any stage and just would like some support with how they can take ownership of their continuing professional development. The book's been designed to be as easy to read as possible, and it's broken into specific topics with a progressive or linear format. So it can either be read in one go, start to finish, or you can refer and dip into specific subjects depending on what each individual really needs or is looking for. I've included some reflective activities within there as well, which will help increase the understanding of a topic and particularly how it applies to individual practice. But it's also supporting for those who need evidence for their progress as part of a formal preceptorship or an NQP programme. And then one of my favourite parts is that there are also specific pieces of advice from others who have been through the same process. So whether that's from NQPs or those that have been supporting NQPs, it gives some real world hints and tips of how to progress safely but also confidently. So overall, if you're going to qualify as a paramedic, there will always be periods of time where you're either new in post or facing new experiences, or you just feel as though you're underprepared for what you're facing. And this book is designed to be a companion to take away some of that anxiety and ensure that you are ready for anything that the world of paramedicine might throw at you.